Welcome to the Local Domination Podcast, your ultimate guide to get local clients fast. Featuring interviews with local marketing and lead generation experts who will show you exactly how to attract local clients and dominate your market. And now, here's your host, Doran Aldana.
Get this. Every day, local prospects are searching for your products or services online, and they're looking for someone they can trust. Are you capturing that business? How would you like to dominate the local search results with more 5-star rave reviews than any of your competitors so you become the only logical, trusted choice? I call it Operation Domination. Download a free copy of our Ultimate Testimonial Toolkit now at mytestimonialengine.com/domination. Again, that's mytestimonialengine.com/domination and discover how to build your business at the speed of trust. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Local Domination Podcast, your ultimate guide to getting local clients fast. This is your host, Doran Aldana, and we have yet another kick-ass episode for you. Today is no exception from the richness of marketing nectar we tend to serve up to you on a silver platter on these episodes. And today we have a special interview with Jean Hanson. Jean Hanson is a cleaning business consultant, duct tape marketing consultant, speaker, founder, and a whole lot more. She's the co-owner and co-owned 2 commercial cleaning companies since 1986. After selling the first company in Boise in 2002, Jean and her husband Steve started another cleaning company in Minnesota. At the same time, she started a professional virtual assistant business, which she ran for 5 years. In 2005, the Hansons started an online subscription website for owners of cleaning companies, which they still run to this day. The janitorialstore.com and myhousecleaningbiz.com. In 2013, Jean became a certified duct tape marketing consultant. That might mean nothing to you, but believe you me, that has a lot of clout to it because it's like being a black belt in marketing. And she receives exclusive rights to implement the duct tape marketing small business marketing system, which is like a proprietary, wicked effective marketing system, and is the sole consultant in Minnesota, although she teaches the system to business owners around the country. She is also the only duct tape marketing consultant in the cleaning industry. So without further ado, the one, the only, Jean Hanson. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Jean.
Thanks, Doran. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Me as well. So why don't we just take a quick look at your life. How did you get to be, first of all, self-employed as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and then how did you get into this duct tape marketing consulting and get to be, as I like to call it, a black belt in marketing with duct tape marketing consultative services? Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, my husband, Steve, is actually, he has always been the entrepreneur in the family. I was working at a job like most people do, and he ended up starting a cleaning company when I got transferred out to Boise with my job back in the 80s. And eventually I left my job and I went to work with him full time in the cleaning company. And we spent 15 years building that company up, and it was a pretty successful company. And we decided in 2001 that we needed to get back to the Midwest. We had parents that were getting older, starting to have some health issues. And we just decided it was the right thing to do to sell the company at the time and head back to the Midwest where we're from. And we landed in Minnesota, a little ways away from our parents, but within driving distance. And Steve started another cleaning company right away. And I just felt like I needed something of my own on my own. And although I still was involved in the cleaning company, that's when I started the virtual assistant company. It's 2001. The internet was really starting to take off, and there were actually virtual assistants back then. And but not too many people knew what they were. And I really built my business based on helping entrepreneurs with their marketing. That's what I really love to do. I love doing email newsletters and online marketing and all the different things that were coming up at that time. And it really started taking off. And about 2004, I was working with a coach, and we were discussing membership websites. And it seemed like it was this new trend coming along. And there was, at the time, we were starting to grow the second cleaning company, and there was really nothing out there other than a couple of the associations who really didn't provide any content for people. And so as I was talking with this coach, we're like, these membership websites, all they're really doing is leveraging what they know. And you guys know the cleaning company or the cleaning industry, so why not start something for cleaning business owners? And that just, that I sat with that for probably a year before I did anything about it. And finally we decided to do it. And we were really focusing on the smaller cleaning companies, the startups, the people that were struggling to get to that $250,000 mark, $500,000 mark. And so we started the janitorial store. And as we continued to do the virtual assistant business and the cleaning company, we started this online business, and it just started taking off because there was really nobody else doing anything like it out there. And people were finding us strictly through the content that we were putting out there. I was cranking out articles every week. It was just crazy. So it started really taking off. We ended up selling the second cleaning company about 4 years later and just went full force into this. So that's really how we started on this journey of transforming from a cleaning company into having an internet business. And then in 2013, we decided to join the Duct Tape Marketing Consultant Network. And John Jantz founded it several years ago, and I had been following him for years. I found him as a virtual assistant, and everything he really taught resonated with me. And so I thought, what I would really like to do is take some of these members that have been with us a long time, that are actually growing their business, who now are so busy they don't have time to do their marketing, is why don't we start a marketing company so that we can do the marketing for them? Because that was, marketing was my love. And my husband, he helps them with other things like proposals and figuring out pricing on big bids and things like that. He's really skilled at that. So, I kind of put on the marketing hat and decided to join the network. So it's been quite a journey, and we really are thrilled that we are part of the Duct Tape Marketing Consultant Network, because now we have regular meetings, boot camps, about 4 times a year. And so I usually try and attend at least 2 or 3 of them. And I've gotten to know several of the other consultants. We support each other. We help each other out. Some people are more skilled at things than others. And so, you can work with other consultants on bigger projects and things like that. So it's so difficult to stay on top of marketing these days, and to have this network of people that we can share ideas with, and all that. It makes a huge difference, because one person just simply can't stay on top of it all.
Absolutely. And so you take someone's weakness, which is they don't know where to start, they don't know how to market, they don't know how to execute, they don't have the know-how or the expertise. And of course, as an entrepreneur, that's what we do. We take problems and we turn them into profits. And one of the golden threads that's woven throughout your journey, from what I can see, Gene, is that at each step of the way, as you went on your journey with Steve, as he launched into the cleaning company arena, and then you came on and served him, and then you moved into membership sites and things like that, and then you realized, wow, we have an experience in cleaning, and these people need help. You melded your knowledge of membership sites with your knowledge of the cleaning industry, helping that particular niche, that industry, that exploded. And then, of course, you realize they don't really want to know how to do it. They want it done for you. So you're like, okay, well, why don't we do it for them then? Rather than just telling them about doing it, why don't we do it for them? And so that's when the duct tape marketing, consulting came into the mix. And so at each point, you're expanding your service, you're expanding your contribution, and it just reminds me, one of the quotes from Jim Rohn, it's you can always have more because you can become more. And in each step, you just become smarter, sharper, and have a more powerful superpower in your respective area of expertise to add more value to your market. And so that's one of the cool things I see in your journey is you keep becoming more and more valuable with specialized knowledge. So I'm about to now peel back your cranium and have you share a little bit about that specialized knowledge with us today. So tell us about mindset. Everything starts with mindset. I was just literally got off a call with a client about an hour ago, and he knew what to do to kick his business up. He knew exactly the game plan that we had talked about for several months that needed to be executed, but he just kept coming up with excuses, rationalizations, blame shifting, and it just wasn't getting done. It reminded me how important mindset is in this game of entrepreneurship. So when it comes to local domination, one of the key fundamentals, the prerequisites to local domination is indeed mindset, thinking like a champ, not a chump. And with that in mind, what's one tip or idea or mantra that you could give to us to think like a champion, to start taking these ideas and start executing them at a high level?
Right. And that's, excuse me, that is something I have personally struggled with over the years, and something that I have to work on all the time, because it's so easy when you have a business, and it could be a cleaning company like the people we work with. It could be any other type of, I know you really focus on local companies, but any type of local company, a restaurant owner, we all struggle with the same thing, and that's that we get so caught up in the day-to-day running of our business. And in a business like a cleaning business or a restaurant or something like that, you've got employees that are serving your customer. So really, that's a huge part of what you do. And if you're dealing with turnover issues and all of those things, you get so trapped up in the day-to-day stuff and filling in for missing people that all these great ideas that you have, and we all have a lot of them. I mean, if you have started a business, I'll guarantee you've got this bank of ideas in the back of your head, or maybe that you've written down, and then most of them are not getting implemented because of this trap. And so in order for you to actually act like a champ and not a chump, you have to take actions on the things that are actually going to move you forward in a big way. And it took me another coach, a really high-level business coach that I actually have worked with, that made me realize just how important that was, that I kept putting those things aside in order to keep the business running day to day. Mm-hmm. And so I was not playing big. I was playing small. I was not thinking ahead. And when I did think ahead, we would have meetings and say, we're going to do this, this, and this. And then they get set aside. And guess what? I didn't work on those big things. So if you really want to get ahead and think bigger, then you have to set aside focus time to do those things that you should be doing, to work on the things that are really going to move your business ahead in a big way. And you have to protect that time. So what Steve and I do is actually every Thursday, that's our focus day. And when we started out, we couldn't have a whole day to do that because we have too many interruptions, right? Mm-hmm. So you start small. Maybe you're so busy that you can only spend an hour, doing focus time. And maybe it's just a very big project. Maybe it's a partnership that you want to develop that is going to help bring more business to you. So when I think about these, when I'm talking about things that are going to move you forward in a big way, I'm talking about something that's actually going to generate a lot more leads for you. That could be a big, something that's going to move you forward in a big way, a big partnership that's going to help draw you forward. But you've got to set that time aside. So we ended up, when we started, just doing a half a day. So from 8 to noon every Thursday, we only did focus things. And we told our employees and our virtual team, we're not available from 8 to noon on Thursdays. And so the phones get redirected. So we're not interrupted by that. Our cell phones get turned off, and that's what we do. And then we also created time to spend together on Fridays to where now we can collaborate. So we each have our own focus time on the things that we need to be doing individually for our business to move us forward, and then we have that together time where we're focusing on what's going to move the business forward.
That's very cool. I've often marveled at marriage partnerships that work in the trenches on the front lines of capitalism together as a team. And I marvel at it because, bless my wife. She's amazing. She's wonderful, but she's not very business inclined. And she keeps me well fed, and I have home cooked meals, and I have nothing to complain about. But I could see a lot of opportunity for train wrecks and all kinds of friction points inside of the relational dynamic when you're in marriage, but also in business together. So any marriage couple that can pull that off and still remain happily married after a year or two, I think that's absolutely remarkable. It's really quite something. So obviously you found a rhythm that works because you're still married to this day, and you haven't killed each other yet, right?
I know. The year that we got married is the year we went into business together. So that's pretty crazy that, and actually it's been 30 years. This was our 30th anniversary. So, not to say that it was easy the entire way. It actually was easier for the first 15 years than these last few years because Steve's used to running a cleaning company, and so he did his part for the cleaning company. What I did was completely separate, and it worked wonderfully. But then when we started an internet business, suddenly Steve was out of his comfort zone, and, I would get to where I'm like, oh, God, I got to train him how to do this again. I get a little irritated with that because I had been doing it for a while.
Right.
So, even after that long time working together, we still had to we had to totally figure it out all over again. But now we've come into this rhythm, and he knows what he does really well now, and it's working very well. And the other secret is that he has an office downstairs, and I have an office upstairs because we do still work out of our home. We also have a co-working space that we work out of occasionally, but having separate offices is really key. You're going to be married.
A little bit of separation is a good thing. Having a little breathing space just to maintain a little sanity. So a few things I picked out of what you shared there. One is you hired a coach, and it's amazing how many guest expert interviews I have on the show who bring up the fact that they invested in a coach. In many cases when they didn't feel like it or they didn't have the money for it, but they were more committed to their dream than they were to maintaining their comfort. So they just said, screw it, let's do it, and they did it anyways. So that, again, is another golden thread woven among successful people, investing in high-level coaching. It's amazing the difference that makes. I just dropped, it's almost, my wife was embarrassed for me. I'm not embarrassed about it, but, I dropped $55K USD yesterday on coaching for the year. And for the average person, that's a hell of a lot of money. Heck, for me, it's a lot of money. But successful people invest in themselves and in their own education. It's not an expense, it's an investment in their future success. And you did that, and that was a part of your breakthrough, getting you out of your comfort zone, getting yourself out of your own way. And I've often said that comfort is the enemy of progress. So you push yourself out of your comfort zone. I think far too many people worship the altar of their comfort. And I think that's what keeps a lot of people stuck. They'd rather be comfortable and broke than uncomfortable and rich. Because if you think about it, there's only one or two or three things that if they did daily that are uncomfortable, they'd be exceedingly well off. But they'd rather, in many cases, be secure in the discomfort of the known evil, the known hell, than to face an unknown hell of calling past clients or calling referral partners and getting out there and facing quote unquote rejection. So what would you say to someone like that who is kind of stuck in a rut? They want to create a breakthrough, but their fear of the unknown or their fear of rejection or their fear of making mistakes or their fear of failure just keeps stopping them, just keeps self-sabotaging them. What would you say to that?
Well, excuse me. What I would say to that is, I am one of those people that for many years stayed in my little comfort zone. And I didn't reach out for help for too long. And I knew I was starting to become a bottleneck in our company because everything had to go through me. And, it was time to do something. I had to do something. And so I made that step of hiring a coach. Now, some people are going to say, I just can't afford it. Mm-hmm. But there are ways to afford it. If you can't afford to hire a coach one-on-one, then do some sort of group coaching. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the reasons that we started the janitorial store was for those people that don't have a big budget, that can't afford to hire a coach one-on-one, because it is thousands of dollars that you need to invest. Mm-hmm. And so we created a community where they could get some mentoring and get some, coaching on a little more, a different kind of level, but at least it was a start. And for many of those people, that was the push they needed to create some, some movement in their business. And once they got that movement going and a little cash flow going, then it's like, okay, well, I'd like to work with you one-on-one. So then they would hire Steve to help them just with proposals, and so maybe it was, okay, can I just buy a few hours of your time as I can afford it? Okay, so that might be the next step up to getting your coaching until you can afford to have a coach on a regular basis that can keep you accountable. And one of the most valuable things that I find with having a coach is the accountability piece, mm-hmm. because I've always been very accountable for my own business and my own activities and tasks until I got so overwhelmed with everything that suddenly I realized, I keep pushing stuff off. Maybe I really do need someone that keeps me accountable. And the program that I'm in right now, it does an excellent job of keeping me accountable. And so suddenly we are moving forward. We're starting to implement some of the stuff we've been talking about for years. Mm-hmm. So, you can start small with a coach, but to make that step, do something. Join an inexpensive membership site. Do some, coaching a little at a time as you can afford it on something, one specific thing, that you're getting held back in. But do something and get that going.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I mean, these podcasts are free, but what really gets you to a whole other level, what I've experienced anyways, that catapults you to a whole other level is having a mentor by your side, in your corner, and stretching you out of your comfort zone. You go to the gym, you might sweat a little. You hire a personal trainer, you're going to sweat a lot, and you're going to get a lot more results. And that's the big idea. Okay, so we've talked about mindset. Now let's talk about specific tactics inside of marketing. Local domination is not just about mindset, it's about execution with effective marketing. And so if your hands were tied, Jean, and you could use just one marketing strategy to gain total local domination, what would it be?
So, I gave this question some thought because my mind immediately went to digital marketing and having an online presence, because it is so prevalent now. No matter what kind of business you have these days, you have to have an online presence, because people are no longer pulling out a Yellow Pages phone book. They are going online and they are searching. Mm-hmm. And so in order for you to get found, especially if you're a local business, you have to be found on Google, because they still are the main player. So what I would say is, if you just had one marketing strategy, I would get really familiar with Google and play by their rules. So that means get yourself your Google Business or Google My Business page if you don't have one yet. And if you do have one, you have to work on that page. You have to add photographs. You have to get Google reviews. That's another really big part of this. You can set up what they call Google Search Console. They used to call it Webmaster Tools. They keep changing the names of these things. But, just do your homework on Google and how to get on the map, how to get online reviews, all those things that they consider important to ranking you so that people actually find you in the search.
Gotcha. So get a Google My Business account. And of course, there's lots of free tutorials on YouTube showing you how to do that. So it's not rocket science. And then get reviews so that you obviously have social proof attached to your digital profile with Google. Is there any other reason why? I mean, I have another company that offers a software as a service called the Testimonial Engine. So I'm absolutely a proponent of reviews for obvious reasons. But from your perspective, aside from the social proof component of having more reviews attached to your digital profile, are there any other reasons why a local business owner should be making reviews mission critical as part of their marketing activity?
Well, there's so many benefits of having reviews. And just the fact that Google thinks it's important because it legitimizes you as a business that has clients or has customers that find that you give value to what they are looking for. So no matter what kind of business you have, if you've got people that are endorsing you, then it's not just social proof to other people that are searching you out, but it legitimizes you to other business owners. People are more likely to give you referrals, and Google looks at you as a legitimate business in their eyes. So, the ranking can come up. That's just one piece of it, though. Google takes a look at all these different things. That's why I say you have to play by their rules as a whole and not focus on just the one thing, or just get your Google My Business page up and think you're done, because you're not.
So what are the top 3 rules we need to play by? We need to get a Google My Business account. We need to get reviews. What are the other rules we should be cognizant of?
Really just filling out everything that they allow you to do within your profile. So get your hours on there. Give a description of your business. You can list services. If you got a restaurant, you can put a menu in there. There's so many things that they allow you to do. And photographs, you can actually geotag photographs so that they appear to be from your area. So that's also another way to legitimize your business, that you are real, that you're local. Mm-hmm. So just taking advantage of anything that they allow you to do within your profile, do it.
And again, lots of tutorials on YouTube showing you how to do this for free,
right,
including geotagging photos and everything else. So don't get stopped by the technical stuff. Just bust out your YouTube and watch a few tutorials and you'll be good to go. So, all right. So the big marketing tactic is Operation Domination through Google, play by the rules. What about focus? Focusing on the vital few as opposed to the trivial many. You talked about the importance of block scheduling. You talked about the importance of guarding your time and telling your clients and your employees when you're available, when you're not. What else? Anything else you'd give us that'd be a real game-changing little tweak that could make a big difference as it relates to focusing on the vital few as opposed to the trivial many, so we can actually take our business to the level we want to take it to, as opposed to spinning our wheels at the same level year after year or being sucked into the vortex of operations?
Right. Well, what I would do is, instead of doing what you've heard this phrase, people, they throw spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks.
Right.
And so people are always out there experimenting on all these different marketing tactics. So what I would do is take a look at what you're already doing and take a look at those 2 or 3 activities that are actually working, that are generating leads, generating conversions, and do more of that. Get really focused on the things that actually work and stop with all the other nonsense of stuff that doesn't necessarily work. Stop being places where you don't need to be, and just focus on that and see if you can improve it even better. So if you've built a decent sized email list, make sure you're nurturing that list with content that they actually want to consume. Help them solve the problems that they're dealing with today. Or maybe you've become skilled at Facebook ads for your business. Do more of that. Put a little bit more budget into that to keep that phone ringing. So just, really get focused on that.
So that really speaks to metrics, because how do you improve something you don't measure? How do you know if it's effective if you're not measuring? Can you speak to the importance of tracking metrics for a moment?
Yeah, that is the problem, isn't it? Because so many people, they're doing things and they don't know how to track it. And some things are difficult to track. So if you think that, I hear a lot of people say, oh, I get a lot of business from Facebook. I'm like, so are you doing advertising? Oh, no, I just get a lot of business from Facebook, and they don't really know how to track it. So, if you are going to try, if you're going to use Facebook to generate that, well, then try doing some ads. So, because the ads are trackable. If you're doing email newsletter tracking. There's lots of ways to track when you use an email newsletter service, like MailChimp or any of them that are out there. So you can track these things. So if you don't know how to do it, then start asking some questions. If you're using a particular service, find out how you can track those things, because you've got to be able to track that in order to find out what those activities are that are actually converting.
Or here's a novel concept. How about simply asking when the prospective client calls, how did you hear about us? And actually having a field in your CRM called how they heard about us, or source. And you just type in the source. You got a drop down. I mean, novel concept, I know, but you'd be surprised how, maybe you wouldn't, but it's incredible how few business owners track these kinds of metrics, even if they're spending money and significant money doing it. Digital marketing makes it easy, because with the pixels nowadays, I mean, you can track to a T how much business comes through. And then with our CRMs like Salesforce, Infusionsoft, etc., it makes it exceedingly easy just to pop in a little tag or fill in a little field, and then you can pull reports and see exactly how much business has come from each respective source. And most business owners, they use what I call the SWAG method, scientific wild ass guess. They have no freaking clue what's going on, and they wonder why their business isn't where they want it to be. Well, how do you improve something you're not measuring? I mean, one of the best values you get from a coach, if they're worth their salt, is they force you to track your metrics.
Exactly.
They employ,
and that's what ours is doing right now.
Exactly. It's called metrics-based coaching. So if anything, get a coach just to get you off your duff to track your metrics. If nothing else, that's exceedingly valuable. So thanks for the reminder on that. So how can people reach out to you, Gene, if they want to get more information about you and your expertise and what you bring to the table?
Any one of our websites, if you go to marketingsystemsbydesign.com, you can contact me through the contact form. We also, there's a free stuff drop down, and we've got a couple of free offerings there. And my phone number is there. If you're a cleaning company and you're curious about the janitorial store, you can go to the janitorialstore.com too. We have our contact page there. We also have the chat feature on that, so you can just chat with us if we're available or leave us a message. So lots of ways to get in touch with us.
Okay, brilliant. What's one little gem you want our folks to marinate their minds on as we leave this session today?
One thing that really helped me, and I've told people to do this and then I never did it myself, is make a list of everything that you're doing that you should not be doing, and then get it out of your head so that you can delegate it. What I'm working on right now, we've been working on this a long time, but I've found a really good way to do it is I've actually hired a new marketing assistant that can just do all this stuff that's in my head. And so as I do something, I'm recording it on the screen, and I'm recording the whole process. I send it to the recording to a VA, and she is recording it into a tool that I use called Process Street. It's process.st, and it allows you to document all your systems and processes. And so now my marketing assistant, she can take these things and run with them, and she can do a lot of these things that have been eating up some of my time so that I can work on those things that are going to move the business forward.
Love it. ProcessStreet.com. I'll have to check that out. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, it's process.st.
Process.st. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's a very cool idea. Well, I've always been a huge proponent of delegation. I love delegation, but I've recently grasped an even higher idea called empowerment, where you give whoever you've hired, and I am a big proponent of the premise of superstars only. Only hire superstars, not chumps but champs, not whiners but winners, not duds but studs. I'll stop now. You get the idea. And then give them ownership of a particular area of your business rather than just merely delegating. Give them ownership. It's their baby. And then support them, coach them, train them, give them the tools to win, but then release them. And superstars will spread their wings and soar and take it to much higher heights than you would ever take it on your own. So, yes, my salute to that idea is definitely emphatically there. And I'm all about do what you do best and get the best to do all the rest.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for hanging out with us today, Jean. Thank you for your inspiration, your insight, your wisdom, and most importantly, just thank you for the difference you're making in the world.
Well, thank you. It was fun, and I appreciate being on the show.
It was a pleasure. Well, that's all we have for you today, my friends. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Local Domination Podcast, your ultimate guide for getting local clients fast. So if tips galore that help you soar is what you adore, know this, we've got more in store. Remember, nothing happens without implementation. So in the meantime, in between time, go forth, engage. It's time for Operation Domination.